Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy also to see so many people joining me with this talk. So today, as Justina promised, I will be talking about product goals. I'm trying to explain them. I'm trying to encourage you, dear product owners, scrum masters, leaders, developers, everyone who is here, to use them, I hope I will inspire you. That's my goal. And my second goal is to not only show you in general what they are, but also to show you some examples, real life examples. So the first part of this talk will be about explanation, what it is, what is the subject, and the second part will be more practical and application, and some questions to you. So don't be here ashamed, and raise your hand when I will be asking question. I'm not going to invite you on the stage, so no worries. No, probably not. I have some questions to our audience. So don't worry, I'm not going to invite you just to check how many of you are doing some stuff I will be asking, okay? So let's start. So who am I? I'm MagdalenaFirlit. I'm an agile transformation consultant. I cooperate with plenty of organizations, sometimes a dozen at the same time. So plenty of experience, I hope, and my honest experience will be shared with you. Okay. Start. So my first question is, do you use product goals? But specifically, my question is about not goals in general, but about the product goals. Raise your hand or not. Okay. Product goals are used, more or less. Okay. So we'll see what will happen after my talk. Okay. Maybe some inspiration for some of you who are already use them, or maybe you will start if you don't do it, okay? So based on my research, that's my research, not like a worldwide global research. My research is around 50 companies. I just asked some questions and during my courses or during consulting, and it turned out that around 70% of products, they don't have any product goals. 70%. Why is that? Yeah? That's the good question. Why? So the first question is why goals? Why to have them at all? And because when you have goal-oriented organizations and teams, it's changing everything. It's a game changer for everything. When I cooperate with companies, I can see that if they have goals and if they don't have actually goals. So this is the huge difference, because plenty of research on self-management said that goal-oriented teams, products, or organizations, they perform just better. And that's so simple, right? Very simple. So just start using goals if you don't do it. Ideally, product goals as well, because goals give focus, right? No context switching. And also, of course, people are so engaged around goals. And for example, there is some research saying that when people are engaged, and they are creative more and engaged and effective, around 20% more of effectiveness when people, they know what they are doing, but not only, when they are engaged with those goals, like personally attached to goals. So they do understand what they are doing on a daily basis, and they understand why we are delivering this feature, this functionality, this system, platform, application, etc., etc. That's so important because they understand why. Okay? And of course, people are more integrated and they swarming together when they are working. So in the past, not right now only, it's not like a fashion to have goals, but in general, product goals were broadly used, and that's why they were added to the Scrum Guide, to the recent version, because what we observe as consultants, as trainers, we exactly knew that goals-oriented, product goals-oriented products and product managers, product owners, they are more effective in achieving and understanding why we are delivering such things. So, what is the product goal? The product goal has many explanations, and we can use here some of them and some things that can explain them better. First of all, it is the strategy to achieve the product vision. Do you have your product visions? Again, around 30% of the audience. So my research was right. Thank you for this validation. So the product vision, and product vision can be explained in product goals, right? So once you have your product vision, can be too generic, can be too broad. And when you have something specific, this is like a first step to achieve your product vision, something concrete, something measurable. Okay? Measurable, must be measurable. The vision, not necessarily. It can serve you for the long time period, right? So it can be, for example, for an entire year or for 2 years. But the product goal also is sort of long-term or mid-term and can be time-bounded, but it's measurable. And this is the first concrete step how we are going actually to achieve our vision. So the product goal describes the upcoming future state of our product. And what I would recommend you to have one product goal at any given time, because it creates focus. People, very often, they are asking me, Magda, what would you say about having, for example, 3 or 4 product goals at the same time? I would say never, don't do it, please. I had plenty of examples. Actually, we can talk after my speech here, and I can show you some examples or describe it, and we can just talk about having more than one product goal at the given time. So you may have some candidates of next product goals, of course, upcoming, but I wouldn't recommend, never, ever recommend you to have many goals, because you will lose your focus, and your teams or team, depends on what is your situation, they will be distracted, and they will not be thinking about the concrete thing that we need to achieve. So ideally, when you have one goal, one current goal, and ideally, when your product goal is focused on outcomes. You know what outcomes are? No? What are outcomes? Yeah, some of you. Outcomes are measurable changes in customer behavior. So you can measure it. For example, if our customer can save time using our functionality, or if we can reduce their anxiety. So this is the outcome, not the feature. Feature is just an output, and you don't know if it's really valuable. You may deliver plenty of features, plenty of outputs, yet no value. So please have it in mind. This can be also, of course, another talk about outcomes. We have no time for it, so I would recommend you to dig it up more, this topic related to outcomes. And the product goal can be, of course, be around some functionality, can be, but please have in mind, though, this outcome-oriented approach. So measurable changes in customer behavior or desired experience of our users, customers, etc. And remember, focus one goal. And the product goal, from the Scrum perspective, I'm a Scrum.org trainer, so of course I will be, promoting here Scrum. But to be honest, I love Kanban too. So you can use also, when you work with some different approaches, you can also use product goals. Why not? It's not only like reserved for Scrum, of course not. And your product goal should be in your product backlog, if you have, of course, a product backlog. And this is a commitment. We call it a commitment. So our teams, they don't commit to the scope, but they commit to the goal. And it is a game changer, because when you are committed to the goal, you can achieve it actually using many ways, so using many different features, and it creates creativity, like a space for creativity for teams, having the goal, not the concrete only feature. And also, it creates sort of sense of belonging and sense of experience. And also, an increment is a step toward reaching the product goal. So can you see it? Everything is connected, actually. So sprint goals, increments are connected to the product goal. They contribute to it. Let's try. If you haven't tried so far, let's try this approach. So having the goal and then the sprint goal, that is a reflection of our product goal. Okay, so sprint goals, increments contribute to the product goal. And what is the source of product goals? Sometimes in organizations, product people, they say, oh, okay, we have this goal, this functionality or platform is our goal. Okay, but I'm asking, why? How do you know that your goal is right? So having the goal, it's not enough for us, not enough. And for me personally also, I'm always asking the question, how do you know that your goal is right? Because many times, when I cooperate with organizations, I can see that they are moving toward the maybe right or maybe not correct direction. They just don't know, and this is what's worrying me the most, but they don't know why they are delivering actually right now this goal, why it's important. So ask this question to yourself right now. How do you know that our goals are right? For me, the source of the product goals is in unrealized value. Unrealized value, this is the potential and the opportunity, and must be measurable, of course. You should know it. Once you measure, you know it. If you don't measure it, you don't know. You have no idea what you are doing. And yesterday, that was the great talk, Michał talk, about metrics and about product, of course, metrics. And I would refer to it right now, because his speech showed also you as here audience, that some things can be measured in product management, and also it can be used in a wrong, of course, or in the good way. And I would encourage you to come back to his talk if you haven't seen it already. And think about it because it's connected. It's connected measuring, for example, customer satisfaction and measuring gaps in this satisfaction. So this is unrealized value, how our customers are unsatisfied or if there is any gap in their satisfaction. So unrealized value is a gap between the current customer experience and desired experience. And actually, that's the great potential and opportunity for any product if you measure it. So another question to you will be, do you measure unrealized value? Maybe it's called differently in your company. So if you measure some gaps, you should raise your hands now. Yeah, that's normal. Only few people, yeah? So please rethink it. If you are a Scrum Master or a product owner right now or a manager, regardless of your role, you can always encourage your organization and invite them to measuring unrealized value. Because from unrealized value, we know what is missing in our product and what should be our goal. So I will give you some examples, just give me a second. Let's finish this part. Let's finish this introducing part to the product goals. And the question also is, in your opinion, who is accountable for developing and communicating the product goal? Any ideas? PO, product owner, of course, product owner is accountable for it. I hope it's like that in your organization, or if not, you can rethink it. So let's go to some concrete things, to some examples of the product goals, and they should come from, of course, unrealized value. Reminder, first of all, reminder. So, product goals, remember, measurable, ideally outcome-oriented. And they are in the product backlog and they are commitments. So first example. The first example is we want to improve our customer satisfaction by 20% in 4 months. Measurable? Yeah. Can be time-bounded? Actually, it is time-bounded. Is it related to outcomes? Yes, customer satisfaction. So unrealized value was, we found some satisfaction gap. And we should know what is the current state and, of course, the future state. So future state will be 25 or 20% in 4 months. And we should know what is exactly this satisfaction. In this example, it's very generic, of course, but we should know exact gap. So, for example, some functionalities right now can be added, as, for example, sprint goals, yeah, to achieve this product goal. So we should know what will satisfy our customers. How? By interviewing them, by running some experiments with them. So that would be the most important for us, to know it, exactly know it, what is missing. Not because we think, we assume. It shouldn't be our assumption. We may have some hypothesis to validate, but it shouldn't be like that. Like, we don't know, just don't know. No, just only pure assumptions. We should have some data. And from those data, we may create right now product backlog items. So be careful with this goal a little bit, because it's too generic. But sometimes in organizations, we exactly know what it means for us. There are some features, like explaining what is missing in this satisfaction. Yeah. And when it's transparent and when it's understood, it will be okay. And the organization understands what this goal means. Yeah, and it's outcome-oriented, so it's okay. Should be understood by all Scrum teams and stakeholders, of course. Another example, we want to motivate our users to learn new things, and it will be a 10% increase by using these valuable features on our platform. And in this way, our product will increase revenue by 5%. Outcome-oriented? Yes. It's another example of outcome-oriented. So motivation as a customer, I will be more motivated, and that's outcome, right? Not the feature, not the platform, but my motivation will be outcome. And according to research, when goals are connected with outcomes, with true outcomes of customers, the product probably will earn more money, just simply, or some money saving can be also as a metric. So the more outcomes you are going to deliver to your customers, the more company impact. So the more value for the company will be delivered. And this is, as you can see, this goal is connected with revenue, and it's fine. Only what I would warn you, this is the case when your product goals will be only revenue-oriented. Be careful with that, because there is no customer in this goal, or user, of course. And when you have it in that way, it may end up in losing your customer or your user perspective. Even if you have your internal products, like, for example, delivering something for your organization, for your company, so not for the external users. Also, it's important not only to focus on revenue or cost-saving goals, because, again, you will lose their perspective. And it's so important to have this customer perspective, because you will be delivering what they want, not what you want, but what people want or need, or of course, how you can satisfy them better. So when the goal is outcome-oriented, it can be, of course, combined with revenue. Why not? But revenue-oriented goals, I don't recommend, because of losing your customer point of view. And again, we should know what features exactly are there, or upcoming, of course, features, not everything from scratch maybe. And then you can, of course, validate it during your delivery, and that's how we can create product backlog items. So your features, functionalities, etc., from the goal and from unrealized value. Yeah? And the flow is unrealized value first, product go from unrealized value, and then features. They can satisfy the goal and your customers. And another example, the third example will be, we want to reduce anxiety for our users and improve security of our solution by implementing the solution XYZ. Outcome-oriented? Yes, no? Yes. Not measurable so much, probably, yeah? Should be measurable. I was trying to give you some real goals I just experienced with some of my customers. They are, of course, a little bit changed to respect my contracts. But if we would add measurable anxiety reduction, that would be perfect. Perfect goal, outcome-oriented, and a little bit connected with outputs can be also fine, but it's lacking measures, so be careful with such goals. Yeah? If you know it, if you can measure it, if the teams and stakeholders are aware, exactly, so that would be fine. That would be fine. And again, product backlog items can be just discovered from those goals. And the last part, my dear audience, application. So think right now. I'm not asking you, you don't need to say out loud right now, but just think at this moment, what would be the product goal in your context? If you don't have any, or if you have already your product goals, if they can be outcome-oriented and from unrealized value as their source. Think, 1, 2, 3. Fast thinking. And the second, my tip and application. If you had, just a moment ago, if you had no idea about your product goal, that can be the sign of something. And the sign, for example, is I cannot create the product goal because I don't work on product. So maybe your organization or your teams, you are more project-oriented than product. That can be a sign. Another sign of this not possibility of creating this goal right now, or some candidate, is that maybe you work on multiple products. That's also a very common situation. I cannot create the product goal because I work on 5 products at this moment. Remember, focus. You will lose time and money when it comes to context switching, so remember also about it. Or many projects. And think about, if you already have your product goal, how can I improve it? Maybe after some tips. And another application, when checking progress toward the product goal, what would be ideal time and space for it? I believe that the product backlog refinement, if you have them, and sprint review, absolutely that would be the answer. So as often as you can, or as it's needed, of course, not too often. And the last application, that's what I mentioned before, but just checking. But did you know that the sprint goal should contribute to a product goal? Please rethink it, because again, sometimes people in organizations, they have their product goals, but their sprint goals are completely irrelevant to them and they don't contribute to it. And this is like very artificial situation and very common. And why is that? Why we have a product goal, finally, but our sprint goals, they are not the steps towards this product goal. That's interesting as well. And also, this is the sign that something is wrong in your organization. So, dear all, I hope you got some inspiration, I hope, or just revision of your current goals. And what I can say, thank you for your attention and go with goals. May the goal be with you.